Good morning, it's another day in paradise. How you doing, guys? Should we abolish the DEA? If they maintain their current trajectory, yes. Let me tell you why I believe that. For one thing, they act like their agenda is to protect their revenue stream, their budget, more than it is to protect the lives of American citizens, the ones who pay their paycheck. Okay. Is there any need for the DEA? Yeah, I believe so. Is there anything they could do to make themselves, keep themselves relevant in this changing landscape? You betcha. They could actually do their job and protect us from dangerous drugs. First off, they need to understand what dangerous drugs are, which they seem to be willfully ignorant. Give us the marijuana. I mean, just deschedule it, let us have it. Because obviously, or at least it's becoming obvious to me, that when you take a drug or any substance that people like and have found relatively safe, what people will do is find substitutes for that substance that are infinitely more dangerous than the original substance. It happened with alcohol towards the end of Prohibition. Resulted in the poisoning of millions, or not hundreds of thousands of people, in the form of nerve damage that was called Jake leg. Jake leg was a result of people taking a patent medicine called Jamaica ginger, and it caused this terrible nerve damage and paralyzed people, hundreds of thousands of them. Essentially, history has shown us the same things happening now. Are there any dangerous drugs that the DEA could be out there protecting us from? Sure there is. Oxycontin, hydrocodone, the original actual gateway drugs. These are drugs that, after you take them a while, you end up graduating to heroin. Ask a bunch of heroin junkies what first thing they did was, it won't be, I first smoked a joint, yada, yada, yada. No. They got accident work, whatever, got Oxycontin, and when that quit working for them, they sought out something more strong. That's how we ended up with fentanyl. Now, if the DEA wants to protect something other than their budget, I mean, a lot of the things that have been said over the years bring up the true, when somebody suggested the drug war is unwinnable, somebody reacted by saying, yes, but it's infinitely fundable. Well, that says it all. And the whole thing was based on a foundation of racism. There was a man that was about to lose his job in his agency because they were originally prohibition agents. And he said, well, we have to find another drug to demonize, and that turned out to be marijuana. He's famous for saying things like, marijuana makes darkies think they're as good as white men. Well, the thing that's ironic about that, I think it's quite the opposite. In other words, I think marijuana makes crackers think they're as cool as darkies. We all know it's true. Anyway, he was trying to protect his agency and his budget by, he didn't even blow a dog whistle. He was just outright racist. Came out and said unbelievable shit. Marijuana makes white women seek relations with darkies and entertainers. That's funny that they equate darkies and entertainers. To my African American friends, you know me. You know I'm not. Anyway, I'm not even going to say the word. But anyway, anybody wants to challenge me, I invite them to look at my friends list on Facebook. I challenged somebody one time that said they were going to pull my black card for suggesting that Michael Brown was a bully, and of course he didn't deserve to get shot in the back by an asshole cop. But anyway, I said, yeah, we check your friends list and my friends list, and we'll see who has more people not of our ethnicity. Never heard anything back. She must have looked at my friends list and figured out that, you know, and those were all my friends before Facebook even existed. But anyway, can the DEA do anything to make themselves relevant? Yeah, they can start going after the real gateway drugs, Oxycontin, Hydrocodone, and all those painkillers. But they won't do that because they're so far up the ass of Big Pharma. But anyway, they can start protecting us from synthetic drugs. You know, K2, all those, you know, what the fuck they call it? Bath salts. Whatever, man. I tell you what, as somebody who smoked weed for 50 years, I've never barfed or gotten sick smoking marijuana. Yeah, K2, blah, blah, blah. You know what? There's a whole culture of people in America that have to seek that shit out because of drug testing. You know, I mean, they're on parole, they're on probation or whatever. Yeah, they committed another crime. Is that bad? Yeah, hell yeah, it's bad. But when I was homeless for a little bit, staying in a motel, extended stay motel, and it was full of those guys that couldn't get a job, you know, they've been in prison, whatever. Anyway, I smoked some of that K2 with them, and I started barfing. And they said, hey, you got any weed on you? I was like, yeah. One hit off that dro, man, I quit barfing, my head quit spinning. I mean, it was like reversed that overdose instantly. All I'm saying is that I don't want the DEA to disappear. I fear that if they were banished, that the synthetic drugs like fentanyl, K2 and all that shit would be everywhere, and that scares me. I would much rather my kids not do heroin. Of course not, because that is a dangerous drug. But smoke marijuana than smoke any of that synthetic shit. That shit can kill you deader than a hammer. But anyway, dear DEA, deschedule marijuana. Give up. You guys seem to think that's your big cash cow. And it ain't. Do your damn job and protect us from dangerous drugs. We would like that. That does not mean make drugs more dangerous. You know, I mean, the adverse effect of what y'all are doing is shit like, well, you know, the Jake Leg thing reminds me of what they did to marijuana back in the 70s. Nixon and the DEA started dumping some god-awful drug called paraquat on the marijuana crop. I mean, that's like, you know, dumping Roundup on a bunch of marijuana. You know what? Somebody's going to end up smoking that shit, and that could kill them very quickly. It's almost as if they're saying, well, we can't find anything dangerous about it. We'll make it dangerous. But anyway, DEA, man, forget about protecting your little revenue stream and your jobs. If you want to keep your jobs, if you want the American public to go along with paying you assholes, y'all had better start working for us. Deschedule marijuana, which I think is not, I mean, that's like, you know, giving the fox control of the hen house. I mean, you know, there's a huge conflict of interest in allowing the DEA to schedule drugs. They've done an incredibly shitty job with that. And every time I hear them say, Schedule 1 includes, you know, drugs that have no medicinal value like LSD. You know what? LSD may end up having some medicinal value, but we never know. Anyway, I think that not only are they not protecting us from dangerous drugs, they are potentially withholding from us immensely beneficial drugs. I mean, you know, and it's not all just anecdotal evidence. I mean, you know, we don't have the studies. Well, they made it fucking impossible to study this stuff. And then stood back, we don't have enough studies. Give me a break. Anyway, DEA, change the directories or die. If you wanted to protect your revenue stream and your job, you quit trying to protect your budget and go back to doing your job, protecting Americans from dangerous drugs. You know, the opioid crisis may have a lot more to do with you guys than you're ever willing to admit. Because you're willing to sit back and ignore, you know what, I think y'all take money big time from pharmaceutical companies and shit. I think y'all are paid off puppets. It may turn out that marijuana cannabinoids can cure cancer. Boy, that'd sure put the chemotherapy people out of work. Well, anyway, if that does become true, just think of the millions of lives that could be saved, could have been saved, if the DEA wasn't so focused on protecting their budget. At that point, if that becomes the case, you assholes should be sued. You should have to pay all that money back. Anyway, that's the way I feel about it. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful Christmas or holidays. Happy holidays. You know, I've noticed that when I say happy holidays to people around here in this small town, they kind of, you know, I mean, give me a look like, that's because I used to teach large classes with people of different faiths, different religions, and I could see their heads kind of drop when I said Merry Christmas, you know, as if that doesn't include me. And I get that. That's why I started saying Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. I like saying Merry Christmas. I like Christmas. Not as a religious holiday, it's just one more thing Christians jack, you know, like Easter. Easter was the god of fertility back in, I believe, Greek times. I mean, what the hell do you think eggs and bunny rabbits have to do with Easter? Come on, be realistic.